It's one of the most talked about and debated issues in the Valley, short-term vacation rentals. Where you stand really depends on which side of the fence you're on. Because of an increase in loud late-night parties, unresponsive property owners, and the list goes on, Cathedral City is taking the issue to the voters on March 2nd. Here this morning with more details is City Manager for Cathedral City, Charlie McClendon. It's good to have you with us, Charlie.
Thank you. I'm glad to be able to help discuss this topic.
Well, this really is a hot button issue for the entire Valley. Now, if this law is passed, what does it mean, bottom line, for STVRs in Cathedral City?
The bottom line effect, if Measure B is approved by the voters, is, first of all, that home sharing would still be allowed. Home sharing is defined as when the homeowner is on the property and rents a room or a casita or something like that. That would be allowed anywhere in the city with the proper permit. For short-term vacation rentals, they would have be able to continue to operate for 2 years. There would be new occupancy limits that would limit the occupancy to no more than 10 per home. There would be no amplified music allowed outdoors at any time. There would be no use of outdoor facilities after 10 p.m. and a number of other regulations that address the complaints that the council heard from the community.
What was the impetus for even bringing this to the voters?
Well, the council had been hearing from the community really for the better part of the last 2 years regarding the effects that short-term vacation rentals were having in their neighborhoods. And that was really the impetus for developing Ordinance 842, which was passed by the council unanimously earlier in the fall to address the concerns that the community had brought forward. Then opponents of that ordinance did a petition drive and got enough signatures to where the measure had to be referred to the voters. And ultimately, the council decided that it was in the best interest of the community to let the people decide.
So a lot of people probably purchased a home in Cathedral City and they're not quite ready for retirement, but thought, well, you know, in the meantime, what I can do is I can rent it out as a short-term rental and make some money, pay off the mortgage. What do you say to those people who maybe had that thought going through their minds?
Well, I think that there are plenty of options that are available to the owner of a short-term vacation rental. First of all, they can continue to operate for the next 2 years, just as they have been, as long as they follow the rules in the new ordinance. Secondly, they can use that as an investment property. They just have to rent it for longer than 30 days at a time. That would be a long-term rental. And of course, those are allowed, as they always have been in our community. They could sell the home and recoup their investment that way. They can live in it. I think there's a number of options available to owners.
What's been the reaction from the majority of people who live in Cathedral City about this proposed change?
I think this is a topic, as you indicated earlier, that there are many different opinions on. I know that the people who live close to short-term vacation rentals, the poorly operated ones, and that have indicated they have problems with them, are probably supportive. I suspect there are others who have a different opinion on that. I think there was great interest in this as the council was working on developing the ordinance. I can't think of a topic in the time I've been here that drew the amount of public interest, public comment, and public participation in developing that ordinance.
And what's the biggest complaint?
Well, the complaints that we have heard the most have to do with a feeling of a lack of safety and security in the neighborhoods, with unknown people coming into the neighborhoods every weekend, different people every time. Music, noise, loud parties, sometimes criminal activity. We've heard that a lot. Concern that available housing is not available for people, seniors, working people, others, because they're being taken up by short-term vacation rentals, and that it changes the character of the neighborhood.
On your website, you have an awful lot of information for people who are interested in finding out more about the STVRs as well. We appreciate your time, Charlie, and this, of course, is going to play out in March. If it passes, the owners of these properties have 2 years really to kind of decide what they want to do with the property. Is that correct?
That's correct. Unless, of course, they're in a HOA that expressly allows them, and then they'll be unaffected by this.
Everybody is going to be watching on March the 2nd to see how the vote goes. This is, of course, huge interest here in the Valley for a number of communities. Charlie, thank you for your time today.
Glad to talk with you.